Hey, this is Dave Brenner, guitar player for Theory of a Dead Man. You're listening to Geekcast Radio Network.
Yeah, hold on, here we go. Okay.
Now, GeekCastRadio.com presents Geekcast Radio Special Episode Top 10 Favorite Artists or Bands from the 2000s. With your hosts, Mike TFG1 Blanchard and Dustimus Prime.
Can you feel that? Oh, shit.
Hello and welcome to this special episode of Geekcast Radio. This will continue the epic music spotlight we have planned here at GCR. I am one of your hosts, Dave John Mike, and joining me is Dustin Vancour. Hello.
Good day, sir.
Yes, this is the first time you've been on this podcast, I believe. I think this is the first time you've been on the Geekcast Radio Network. You've been on that Canadian stuff, This Week in Geek, but I don't think you've ever really been on any of our shows.
I have not been on Geekcast Radio Network yet, no.
Yes, well, this is the, we're popping your cherry right here.
Well, thank you for having me. Be gentle.
Would you like some pie with that cherry popping?
Sad thing is, I don't really like cherry pie.
That was a really, really bad Warrant and Cherry Poppin' Daddy's joke right there.
Oh, I know. I caught it.
And what we're here to do today is we're here to talk about and count down our top 10 favorite artists or bands from the 2000s. This will be the final countdown that we do in the music spotlight. And this for me was, I did some finagling here and there. I moved stuff around, but for the majority, my list is pretty much anything and everything I listen to currently. Or stuff that I've listened to from, like, bands that have been around for 10 years that I listen to and stuff like that. And just to let everybody know, neither Dustin or I have seen each other's lists, so we don't know if there's going to be overlap. We don't know if, I seriously doubt we're going to have the same number one. Seriously doubt it.
No, I can pretty much guarantee it.
Yeah, but yeah, so why don't you introduce yourselves to introduce selves, yes, right. You have multiple personalities now.
I do, yes.
What? You introduce yourself to the Geekcast Radio audience.
Well, my name is Dustin Vancour. I go by Dustimus Prime on most online communities. I run the website called One Up Your Life, which is a kind of a health and wellness site geared towards geeks and nerds. And that's really about it. I just recently became a father, which is why I haven't been on any of the shows in the last 6 months. So, yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah. Kids take priority over podcasting.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, so before we get into the actual countdown, and just in case anyone has forgotten how we run our countdowns here is we go 10 to 1 and we go back and forth. So if I say, Dustin, what's your number 10? You'll go, and then I'll go with mine, and then we'll move on to number 9 and so on and so forth. Before we get to that, though, we've got some honorable mentions that did not make our lists. Why don't you go first? What do you got for honorable mentions?
My first honorable mention was actually set at my number 10 until I went back and re-looked at it. But I actually had Limp Bizkit set up in there at number 10. And the only reason I had them set up in there is because up to Chocolate Starfish and the Hot Dog Flavored Water, I really enjoyed what they were. The only problem is that album came out in like 2000, I believe it was. And they really haven't done crap since. So, yeah, that's kind of why I just kind of bumped them off into an honorable mention. They did kind of set the tone for kind of the music that would inspire what I would listen to later on in the future. So,
Hmm. Anybody else?
uh, Weird Al Yankovic. I do enjoy Weird Al. I enjoy his entire lineup of albums. The only problem with that is that Weird Al has been around since the late '80s, early '90s. So
Yeah.
I think he's had a pretty solid run up until now, and probably to just call him a 2000s artist probably isn't fair.
Actually, it kind of is fair because we actually did a spotlight. Steve Megatron and I did an artist spotlight on him in the 2000s, and the reason why that I put him in the 2000s is because I did not know. I mean, I knew of him. I knew that he did Dare to Be Stupid in the Transformers movie in the 80s, but I did not know of his actual other music career other than watching UHF and watching the Transformers movie. I had no idea what he was doing, and then I started listening to him like late '99, early 2000, and that's really where he got his popularity. It took him 20, 30 years to get popular.
Well,
So
he had lots of covers like a Surgeon and
yeah,
Eat It and stuff like that. The White stuff. Those
yeah.
were all covers of really early '90s.
Well, right, yeah. But what I'm saying is though, like in the 80s, he wasn't a Hall and Oates, he wasn't an AC/DC, he wasn't a Whitesnake, he wasn't an Aerosmith. Is what my point is. His
Okay,
popularity did not really hit until the late '90s, early
I
2000s.
I would say he probably became a mainstream name. Probably
Right.
Amish Paradise was probably his
Oh yes,
biggest.
most definitely.
So,
Yep.
and my last one. I'm gonna feel bad for saying these guys' names as an honorable mention, but Foo Fighters. I love the Foo Fighters. They're just not a solid genre that I listen to constantly. Great rock band, absolutely deserve everything they've ever gotten.
Mm.
They just aren't something I listen to on a regular basis. So,
Yeah, I'm the same way. Foo Fighters for me is if one of their songs shows up in a movie I like, I really dig on it. But they are not a band that I can listen to all of their albums. And plus, when they came out, it was all about radio airplay and overplaying songs. And Learn to Fly was like bore into our brains.
oh
Um,
yeah, absolutely.
because of radio airplay and playing it once an hour, twice an hour, every 15 seconds. It just anyway. For my honorable mentions, there's a band that came out. I believe they came out in 2008, or they might have been around before that. I'm not actually looking at any information. I'm not looking at Wikipedia, but I found them through WWE. Jet Black Stare. They did the one of the pay-per-view themes, Ready to Roll, a couple years ago, and I got their first album, In This Life, and just absolutely loved it. They're in the same kind of style, I would say, as they're kind of soft, but they're also hard as well. They're not as hard as like Godsmack, but they're not as soft as like what Three Doors Down can do sometimes. They're kind of like in the middle there, so I like them. Another one that WWE has the fault of me finding out about is Rev Theory, who was Revelation Theory, and then they just shortened it.
I do like Rev Theory a lot.
Yeah, they're pretty awesome. They did the WrestleMania 24 theme song with "Light It Up." They also did a couple other theme songs for WWE as well. Um, I Slipknot is too hard for me. I can listen to Spit It Out, but Slipknot in general is just it's way too heavy for me. But I do like Corey Taylor. His actually this actually came from his mouth on an interview. Stone Sour was around before Slipknot as far as his involvement. Absolutely love Stone Sour. They have a bunch of really, really great songs. They really hit it big in 2002 when they had Bother on the Spider-Man soundtrack. Um, and they do really, really good stuff. My final one is a band that came out in about 2001, 2002, and then they essentially took 6 years off and didn't do anything. Course of Nature, who Mark Wilkerson and crew. Mark Wilkerson is actually the husband of Melissa Joan Hart, believe it or not. But Course of Nature, back in 2002, they had Wall of Shame. That's what it was. Wall of Shame, Caught in the Sun, and Someone Like You. Caught in the Sun, everybody knew Caught in the Sun in 2002. Everybody knew that. These guys, like I said, disappeared for from 2002 to 2008. In 2008, they released Damaged, which has stuff like Anger Cage and Memory of You, The Window, Live Again, Gone. Really, really great album. I would equate them to not they're not as soft as they have a harder edge sound, so I would probably equate them to like a 12 Stones or something like that. So, but that's really all I have for honorable mentions. So I think we're gonna go to a musical interlude, and we'll come back to kick the countdown off. And we're back to kick off the countdown. What is your number 10, sir?
My number 10 is a gentleman whose real name goes by Damien Hess, and most people will know him as MC Frontalot. I do enjoy his music a lot, but to be honest, I really wasn't fully introduced into like any sort of nerdcore in the last couple of years. So when I did my research on him, I found a lot of his stuff, and he's got to be one of the catchiest dudes on the planet. He's so addictive to listen to. He obviously gained his popularity at PAX. Even wrote the Penny Arcade theme song, and he's just created a huge following ever since. I actually got the chance to see him last year personally here in Boise. It was just a really small personal set, maybe 50 people. It was at the little place here called the Neurolux. I honestly don't think he's as big around here as he is probably in other places, but it was just me and like 10 friends, and we all went and checked him out, and he was fun as hell.
Awesome. I was debating whether to put these guys as an honorable mention or to put them at my number 10, and while someone slams their door, have a fit much? Anyway, my number 10 is Three Doors Down. I liked a lot of the songs off of The Better Life, their first album. However, both Loser and Kryptonite, again, got radio airplayed so much, I got so sick of these guys. And then they released Away from the Sun, and the second album, and I absolutely love them for that second album. They released a few more albums. They released 17 Days, and then they released a self-titled album. They have a new album now. Again, I don't have information in front of me for it, but these guys are essentially hit and miss for me. It's like I like a song here, I like a song there, but there's not any of their albums that I like the entire album. I like maybe 6 songs off the self-titled album. Train, Citizen Soldier, uh, Runaway, songs off of Away from the Sun, the sophomore album. And traditionally, sophomore albums, it's like, hey, we have to live up to what came before it, what our debut was. And traditionally, sophomore albums for some bands kind of suck. This one actually didn't. I think this is minus maybe 3 tracks off the album. I think this is the one album of theirs that I can listen to all the way through. Stuff like Here Without You, When I'm Gone, which is the hit single, Ticket to Heaven, Running Out of Days. I love that one album from them, so that's why they hit my number 10. What is your number 9?
My number 9 is again another band that helped define what I would listen to. Is Korn. I love Korn. Jonathan Davis, as a singer, has quite possibly some of the most amazing vocals that there are. I saw one of their DVDs where they were practicing before they went on stage, and there's like this hidden cam video of Jonathan Davis in the back room doing keys, the la 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 la, and and he sounds amazing. Like he could do regular like pop singing if he wanted to, but this is like he chose to do the new metal way and helped pretty much carve that into popularity. The cool thing of what I like about Korn too is that they are a band who seems to be able to stay grounded with their roots. Like they never really veer away, but they at the same time they have a way of evolving at the same time, and I think they really did that. One of their best was last year's album, The Path of Totality, where they got a mashup with a bunch of dubstep artists and created a really amazing album.
Yeah, I remember. I think it was in the mid 90s. I don't know. It was after they came out. It was like right when they hit it big with Follow the Leader and Freak on a Leash and all that stuff. And one of my cousins asked me, "Do you listen to Korn?" No idea what the fuck she was talking about. Didn't even know about them. And I had no idea. I was like, I'm still stuck in the 80s with Hall & Oates and Cyndi Lauper and Billy Joel and all that stuff, Madonna. But no, Korn. I do like a lot of their songs. I do like a lot of the stuff they've done. Surprisingly enough, I've mentioned in the music spotlight here on Geekcast Radio that I'm not that much of a fan of rap or hip hop at all. It's just not my style. It's just not my thing. But there are certain rap and hip hop songs that I don't mind, and I think they did a collaboration with Exhibit for a song off of the Triple X State of the Union soundtrack called Fight the Power. And I don't know what it was. I just absolutely love that song. I thought that was a really cool song.
I love collaborations when two people like from completely different genres get together. It's usually magic when it happens.
Yeah. Yeah. My number 9 is Default. We did a music spotlight episode on them. We did an artist spotlight on them. Myself and JT from Saskatoon did one. Sadly, these guys started out pretty damn good, but they essentially got screwed over by their record label because their record label had a bunch of issues and they had to leave. And I don't know, it took them about, I don't know, 5 years between albums before they could actually find a decent record label. But stuff like Wasting My Time and Sick and Tired and Live a Lie and Blind from the Spider-Man soundtrack, that was a really good track. Overall, a decent Canadian rock band, I would say, but they hit it really big with Wasting My Time. I mean, that song was gangbusters when it came out.
Well, and that entire album, I'll be honest, not entirely my style of music, but I enjoyed every song on that CD at least once.
Yeah. The Fallout was just amazing. Yeah. What is your number 8?
My number 8 is Stained. I was a big Stained fan back in the early 2000s when they came out with Break the Cycle. Break the Cycle was an amazing album. Like every track on it, worth listening to at least once. Aaron, they kind of veered away from that style of album after that, and I really haven't gotten really back into them. Their most recent album had a song called Eyes Wide Open, which was actually really good. They had a couple other singles out there that came out that I thought were all right, but the rest of the uh, albums they've come out with since haven't really sparked anything with me. Aaron Lewis actually even came out with a solo country album, which blew my mind. The one song that they were playing on the radio was decent, but I wouldn't. It's nothing I would listen to on a regular basis. But
Yeah.
great band. Aaron Lewis again, solid vocals. That dude's got a voice that could, sing to angels. But he just, I wish they would go a little more hard on like they did with Break the Cycle.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, Stain for me, again, it's not so much whole albums. It's whatever the singles are or whatever song grabs my attention. What I really liked about them was when they did Mud Shovel live on the Woodstock '99. No, not Woodstock '99. Family Values Tour '99. There's a live version of Mud Shovel. And I don't normally like live versions because they're so different from the studio produced version of a song. But no, they're a pretty decent band. I haven't paid attention to them in years though.
Mud Shovel is one of my favorite songs.
Yeah,
I actually didn't hear that until after Break the Cycle, but I can't
yeah, that's the
count.
same with me.
I can't count that song because it was released prior in like '99 or something like that. So I can't.
Right.
Can't.
Yeah. Well, still. Um, my number eight is. I told this story on one of the other music. I think where did I tell this story? I told it somewhere in the music spotlight to here on GCR. It was me and JT from Saskatoon doing something. Oh, I know what it was. It was the default artist spotlight episode. Um, my number nine and my number eight for me have a certain connection because I made them have a connection. My number eight is Seven Dust. Uh, the only reason why Default and Seven Dust have a connection for me is because when the Fallout for Default and Seven Dust's Animosity album came out, I would play Default's One Late Night and Seven Dust's Dead Set back to back. So it'd be Default, Seven Dust, Default, say, and those two songs would play back to back with each other. I don't know. I have no idea why, but LeJohn Witherspoon and his crew, I actually did not know the guy was black at first. Uh, he's essentially the Jimi Hendrix of hard rock of our generation. I mean, the dude can sing like nobody I've ever seen.
Well, let me just put it this way: Seven Dust will show up later in my list.
Yes, I'm sure. That's fine. That's fine. Seven Dust again changed labels multiple times because they were also on the same. That's another reason why I lump them in with Default is because Default and Seven Dust at the time when they first released their albums in 2001, they were both with TVT Records. And the Animosity album is just great. I absolutely love that. I love their is it a 2 CD set or a 4 CD set? I forget what it is. Oh God. South Side on the Double Wide. That
Yes.
big box set. I absolutely love that. I loved Live Again. I loved Angel's Son. Just an overall. I mean, they can go really, really hard, but again, they can also go really like Angel's Son is a slow rock song.
Oh, Angel's Son, I straight up told my family, like, when I was, like, 18 or... Oh, no. That must have been, like, early 20s. I straight up told them, it's like, if I die, you play this at my funeral, goddammit.
And if you come back to life, they play Prodigal Son.
Yes! Yes!
What is your number seven?
My number seven is kind of... It's weird. It's a loose one because I chose Alice in Chains. And the reason I chose them is because even though Lane Staley passed away several years ago, they obviously did come out with one more album just recently, back in 2008, called Black Gives Way to Blue. And Jerry Cantrell totally does every vocal justice to what Lane Staley would have done. I mean, in fact, when I heard the song came out, I was like, Lane, is that you? I was like, dude, seriously, I thought he'd come back to life. And then I did the research, and then I was like, oh shit, that's Jerry Cantrell. And then, so when I heard Check My Brain and Looking in View, I was like, man, these songs are nuts. I went back and checked the rest of the album, and the whole thing is absolutely worth looking to. And I mean, these guys did absolutely great coming back from probably one of the most horrific losses in rock. So
Yeah.
these guys did awesome.
Yeah, I love Alice in Chains. I love a lot of their songs, but really what I took notice of, and again, this goes back to my whole soundtrack thing. Going back to 2002 in the Spider-Man soundtrack, Jerry Cantrell had "She Was My Girl" on that, um, and I just absolutely love that song. So I can see what yeah, and I can see how you would think that that would be Lane Staley because there are just some musicians out there. I mean, just like voice acting, there are some musicians out there that can imitate other musicians, which is very, very creepy and awesome all at the same time.
Well, and I was actually going to bring this up later, but even Solierna from Godsmack completely like gives almost all his vocal credit to Lane Staley. Like he idolizes him, so
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool too.
Yep. My number 7 is Saliva. I it's the dumbest thing ever.
Okay.
No. The story I'm gonna tell is the dumbest thing ever because so just
I don't know, man. I've heard some dumb stories in my day, so
no, this is pretty damn dumb.
okay. Don't
Uh,
disappoint me.
I'm trying to remember. Was it? I forget what year it was. It might have been 2003. Um, it was just after. Was it just after? Back into Your System came out. It was just after their second album, Back into Your System, came out. Um, I actually had a chance to see them live, and they had um, these two other super death metal bands on before Saliva at this place called Jillian's, and I was like, okay, let's get through these sets, because my problem was I rely on public transportation. And going to a concert that starts at 8:30 and doesn't get over till 1 a.m., it's not a very good option when you have to rely on buses and all that, and because there's a certain time that the buses stop running at night. So I actually got to hang out with the band, got my CD signed. It was really cool. I actually got to hang out with everybody except Josie Scott because he wasn't around or he wasn't in that area of was so stupid. I don't know why he wasn't there, but I got to hang out with the rest of the band and the radio station that was promoting the show. I stayed for the first two bands, and then I looked at my watch and I'm like, fuck, it's either be here and be stranded and have to beg a ride from someone or go catch a bus now. And I went to a Saliva concert to see Saliva, but I never actually got to see them because I had to fucking go home to make sure I got home on time. On time. It's like it wasn't like I paid for the tickets because they were free concert tickets. So I mean, it wasn't like I lost any money, but still, I wanted to see them live, and I just never did. But no, absolutely love stuff like Click Click Boom and Your Disease and um, not all of the songs off of the second album Back into Your System I like, but I like a majority of them, like Always and the title track and um, Superstar 2 and all that good stuff. Some of their other stuff that they've had since then, I really got back into them when they did Ladies and Gentlemen, and that was done for one of I think that was WrestleMania 23's theme. Um, but I mean, those guys just rock out, and I just absolutely love them for that. So, what is your number 6?
My number 6 is actually somebody I don't know 100% about, but it's hard for me to like look past him considering how much he's done. But Eminem, I'm not big on hip hop music, but what I have heard of his it's actually really good, to possibly one of the most talented lyricists like ever to hit the hip hop scene. I mean, the guy is absolutely talented. He's produced, he's done music, he's come up from probably one of the worst upbringings ever. Uh, it's funny because the Slim Shady LP, I actually did hear that album and I didn't really like it. I mean, that's the one where my name is, and
Yeah.
whatever. I didn't care for that song, but it was the Marshall Mathers LP, his sophomore album, that if you want a true definition of what this guy is going to be like, that was the album to listen to. Is like, I mean, that whole album when it came out was like, this is me, this is who I am, deal with it or get the fuck off the bus. And it's just, he came out with songs like Stan, which was amazing. The Way I Am, The Way I Am, I mean, that's pretty much a 3-minute biography. Uh, uh, Kim was an insane one, and the real Slim Shady. I can't think of anybody who wasn't like bouncing up and down to that back in the day. Um, he's come out with a couple of really good ones since then, like Just Lose It, which was all about him, his upbringing into the hip hop world, and Love the Way You Lie, which is the duet he did with Rihanna, which again really catchy song. But Eminem, dude, I mean he is like, if rap had a metal category, it'd be this guy. So I mean, Eminem is awesome. I really, again, not big on hip hop, but I would, if you put Eminem in, I will listen to him.
Yeah, I can listen to him a little bit, but it's more so for those cheesy songs that no one likes, like "Without Me" and "Lose Yourself." And um, well, I mean, "Lose Yourself" really isn't a cheesy song. It's, as you said, it's more of an autobiography of himself, but like Slim Shady and all that stuff. But I don't know. He's essentially to the late '90s or early 2000s as to what Vanilla Ice was in the late '90s or in the
You
late
cannot
'80s.
compare Eminem to Vanilla Ice.
Yes, I can.
No, other than the skin color, you cannot compare those two. Vanilla Ice lasted for a fart in the wind, and Eminem's been around for a solid, like, what, 13 years now, and he's like major producer and all that fun stuff. I mean, he's got it all going for him. He did it right.
I'm sure M&M's has a flavor of Vanilla Ice out there somewhere. My number 6 is Shine Down. Absolutely love these guys.
I saw them in concert, actually.
You lucky bastard. Just looking at the track listing off of Leave a Whisper, obviously, 45. What was the other one that's off here? God, um, what was the other one that was on this that was a single? 45, Fly from the Inside, Burning
Didn't,
Bright.
didn't Shinedown have a song for a pay-per-view for WWE recently?
Oh, yes, they had plenty. But I like the Leave a Whisper album. They did, the next album after that was Us and Them with Heroes, Save Me, and I Dare You. Those were some singles off that album. And then the album right before the new one that just came out was Sound of Madness. Now, Sound of Madness is the first time that I've been able to listen to a Shinedown album from cover to cover, because all of those songs were just amazing. Devour was one that they did for WWE, but it's also on Sound of Madness. Second Chance, If You Only Knew, great. Just the Sound of Madness album is just awesome. They just released a brand new album. It was released March 27th of this year, called Amaryllis. I have yet to check this one out, but it looks like it's pretty damn cool so far. But I just absolutely love, what I loved about them was when I got to the Sound of Madness album, it was just pure anthematic rock that you just can just rock out to, and it was just so awesome. So what is your number 5?
My number 5 is the one and only Disturbed. I am a huge Disturbed fan. I enjoy their music a lot. It's kind of hard. I would say that their only downfall is actually that a lot of their songs actually sound they're similar. You know, they all
Right.
kind of have the same thing going for them, but they do have a really. I mean, a lot of their singles that come out on the radio are they're hard, they're awesome to listen to. It's kind of hard not to enjoy stuff that they put out. I love David Draymond's voice. David Draymond is quite possibly again another one of the. I'm big into vocals, obviously, if you can't tell. Uh,
Yes.
the way I like to describe him is he's got a very rock operatic type voice. Like, you know, when he sings prayer, you know, there's songs in there. There's parts in there where it's really hard, and he's like when he hits "This is the way I pray," and he's like he just hits it, just
Yeah.
bam. It's just awesome. I love Disturbed without a doubt. Whenever there's a new song or a CD out, I'm on top of it.
Yeah, I found it really weird that was it it was last year. It's in 2011. In 2010 they released a new album. Last year they released a new album as well, but it was an album of covers. Covers and rarities, I believe, or something like that. Yeah, I actually first heard of these guys from the original run of MTV's Tough Enough. Um,
Oh yeah, yeah.
because Stupefy was on that soundtrack, and that's how I found out about them. And then I had heard Down with the Sickness and all that stuff, and it was just an amazing album. Um, what really shocked me about them is that they do covers. It's not a bad thing. I absolutely love their covers. They're great, but hearing them do "Shout" by Tears for Fears.
Oh, that song's awesome.
No, the song is awesome. It is very awesome. But the thing is, the guys from Tears for Fears actually went to back in the 80s. They went to scream therapy so they would know how to get that note of shout, shout, let it all out thing. And I'm like, well, yeah, this makes total sense for Disturbed to do this because hell, Draymond is a screamer and he can scream those lines. They also had like Land of Confusion, and I still haven't found what I'm looking for. There's a U2 cover that they did. Yeah, I absolutely love them. I think the latest album that I had from them was the Asylum album, and it's got a lot of good stuff on it. So very cool. My number 5 is Blackstone Cherry. Now,
Hmm.
the only reason why they made it to number 5 is because I like their entire third album. I did not. I'd heard of these guys beforehand, but I hadn't really checked any of their stuff out. They've been around since 2006, and I heard so much about them, but I didn't actually really get into them until last year when they released Between the Devil and the Deep Blue Sea. They were on Rockline Radio with Bob Coburn. It was part of promoting the oh god, what was the name of that tour? The Carnival of Madness tour. It was them, Theory of a Dead Man, and like three or four other bands. And they played on that radio show. They played one of the singles, "Blame It on the Boom Boom." Heard that song and I'm like, yeah, I need to hear this whole album for Between the Devil and the Deep Blue Sea, and it's just amazing. Entire album, front to back, just amazing. They range from hard rockin' type of stuff to a little bit of soft rock, but it's just they're just a great band. I can't wait to see what they're gonna come out with next. I probably should go back and check out their other stuff, but I just like that third album so much that I don't know if I will go back and check it out. So what is your number 4?
Number 4 is Linkin Park.
Oh no. Go
Well,
ahead.
here's the thing. The first thing I'm gonna straight up admit is that pretty much after Meteora, there was just nothing but crap in my opinion. But the thing is that I think what they've done for the industry, as far as pretty much mashing a bunch of styles of music together and to form one kind of thing, and they kind of got away from that, which I didn't really like. Mike Shinoda is a great lyricist, and Chester Bennington has a great rock voice. The DJ, shit, I forgot his name. great guy. I mean, he's talented as hell too. So when their first album came out, Hybrid Theory, and then Meteora, I was all on top of that. And then after that, it just kind of went down from there. The only problem is that Linkin Park still tends to remain a mainstay in music. They've been around. People still like them. And I think what they've kind of done is they've kind of reshaped the way they do their music to actually appeal to a slightly younger crowd instead of sticking with what they originally had and kept the same fans going. So
Yeah, I completely agree with that. As you said in the, were you going to say something else?
no, not really. I mean,
Okay.
I really wish. I know Chester Bennington had his own thing going for a while, and I know Mike Shinoda has another group. Help me out here. Uh,
Um,
he has a hip hop group that's really good actually, and I'm trying to think of their
let's see
name.
that. I've got it here. Fort Minor.
Fort Minor, yeah, Fort Minor is actually really good, and he's an extremely talented guy. I just wish they would stick more with what made them popular at first, and then build on that instead of completely changing it all together.
Yeah. Well, what really, I think where they went downhill, and people are going to comment on this episode, be like, "No, you're wrong," blah blah blah. Between Meteora and Minutes to Midnight, is when they had and found in 2007. Paramount wanted to get licensed artists for the Transformers movies, and they created oh god, what's the name of that stupid song? What I've Done. It's actually on their Minutes to Midnight album, but What I've Done was used in the first Transformers movie, and it fits that movie. I don't disagree with that. But after that, in 2009, when Revenge of the Fallen came out, they created a song just for that movie, just for that soundtrack, called New Divide. And there is an instrumental version of New Divide out there somewhere that I have. Um, I like the instrumental version better than the actual lyrical version. I don't know. It just didn't. I think what happened was Paramount and Hasbro and Michael Bay just threw a bunch of money at them and say, "Here, create a song for our movie," and they essentially bent over and sucked Michael Bay's dick. Because after that, you have a song. Thank God it was only a well, it was in the movie a little bit, but a song off of is it off of an album? I forget. Yeah, it's on their latest album, 2000’s, that was used for Transformers: Dark of the Moon. And they've gotten to the point where they want to make everybody happy. They want to, like you said, cater to the young crowd and just do all that. And it's like, oh God, go back to what you were.
I will admit I did like their two remix albums too. They had Reanimation, which I really liked. That was catchy as hell, and I like the fact that they brought on other artists to perform, like Jonathan Davis from Korn and stuff like that. And Collision Course, which was a complete mashup album between them and hip hop artists. I think mostly Jay-Z, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
So that was a great album too.
Yeah.
So I think they did really good as far as that goes. But as soon as like those were done, they started making other albums, like you said, after pretty much Minutes to Midnight, and after that is just meh.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. My number 4 is 12 Stones. Absolutely love these guys. If you guys listen to the artist spotlight on them, I actually met and hung out with the band twice. At the time, I don't think he's still with the band, but AJ Fantastic, also known as oh God, what's his name? Aaron something. Aaron Gaynor. I met him as a DJ in Mississippi, and then he's like, "Hey, I have this band." I was like, "Oh, cool." But no, they are one of those bands that just every song, not every song, but a majority of their songs I just absolutely love, and a lot of people classify them as Christian music or Christian rock, and I don't see it. I just see them as a regular, mainstream rock band. But songs like "Lie to Me" and "Broken" and "Shadows" and their new album comes out later this month, "Beneath the Scars," and I actually pre-ordered it, and I have the first like 6 tracks, and just absolutely awesome, awesome stuff. So, what is your number 3?
Number 3 is going to seem completely out of the blue, especially since it doesn't have anything to do with pretty much any of the other stuff that I've mentioned, but Lady Gaga.
Oh God, why?
Well, here's the thing. I chose her because of what she has done. I tried to be a little eclectic with some of the stuff I chose. The reason I put her at this point is because of what she's done for pop music is very reflective of what Madonna did for pop music. She's very out there. You pretty much can't go to a club or a radio station without hearing one of her songs on it. And the cool thing about her songs too is that a lot of her songs have a message, especially "Born This Way." "Born This Way" had a huge, obviously, following from everybody because it was basically about you're born this way, gay, straight, bisexual, whatever.
Yeah.
And everything that she does has a catch to it. Everything's. I mean, it's hard not to hear her songs, and like even if you're not a fan, you're just kind of like in the car. This is catchy. I could bounce to this. Da 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 da. And my wife's a huge fan of Lady Gaga. She's also a huge fan of Katy Perry, who I also thought about putting in as an honorable mention, but meh. Why have 2 of them?
She ruined Sesame Street, damn it.
Well, she also had if I remember correctly, there was a show that she was a guest on as like a judge or something like that, and she had the censors had missed it, but she had a pair of high heel shoes on where the heels were made of dildos.
Oh my God.
And that was amazing. I was like, that's totally Lady Gaga. We're talking about the lady who wears like a meat dress and cross dresses as a boy with an alternative personality, and
so she dressed up as Justin Bieber.
No, she dressed up as like it's weird, kind of like almost like Guido type character who wears a wife beater and black pants and smokes a stogie, and I don't know. It was pretty funny. She dressed as this character, I think, as at one of the music awards. I can't remember which one off the top of my head last year, and it was pretty funny. But anyway, that's why she's on there, just because she seems to have she brought shock back into some pop music is what she did, and I think that's something that's been missing from pop music for a while. So I give her props for that.
My number 3, and people are going to be like, what? He ranked them only at number 3, but it has a purpose. My number 3 is Nickelback. I know people are like slack-jawed at this point because people were expecting me to put them at number 1, but
I need a minute. Hold on.
Yeah,
I'm in shock right now.
Back here, shut up.
I think I skipped the beat. Okay, go.
I like a lot of their stuff. I like off the first 2 albums off of The State and Silver Side Up. I like a lot of the songs between those 2 albums, but it wasn't until All the Right Reasons. It wasn't until after that when they did like The Long Road, All the Right Reasons, Dark Horse, and now the new album Here and Now. It wasn't until those albums where I started listening to their albums cover to cover. There are certain songs that I just cannot stand, and there are other ones that I love and play over and over and over again. I would say that their latest album that came out the end of last year, Here and Now, is probably the best album outside of All the Right Reasons. Here and Now is the best album that they've ever done. All the Right Reasons, simply because it was what it was. It is essentially their version of whatever mainstream rock band or heavy metal band that pick out Def Leppard's Hysteria or AC/DC's Back in Black or Guns N' Roses' Appetite for Destruction. All the Right Reasons was that album for Nickelback. It's that album that really launched them, because that album, it took them 2006 to, yeah, they took two and a half years to promote that album, and that album had like, I don't know, 8 singles off of it. So it's very rare that an album gets that much, especially singles. It gets that many singles. But the Here and Now album that just came out is just amazing. It does still have the Nickelback that everyone hates with, Bottoms Up, which is essentially, a bar song about drinking, and Midnight Queen, which is a song about a stripper, and whatever else. I mean, but there are also songs like Lullaby and Trying Not to Love You and Don't Ever Let It End on that album, and it's just, they're just a mainstay in rock right now for me.
Well, here my thoughts on Nickelback. This is another band that I've actually seen live. They, I had
So have
the, um, they are, as much as I don't really like their music, I think the one song that I thoroughly actually enjoy by these guys is "Side of a Bullet." I heard that song for the first time and I was like, this is badass. This is not the Nickelback I know.
Yep.
But I haven't really heard anything else since then. But
Oh
to
yes, you have.
I mean, well, not I haven't liked anything since then, really. I mean, they're catchy. I mean, I admit it, but I don't really like. They're not a band I would listen to consistently. Uh, but to give them their credit, you want to talk about possibly one of the greatest live shows I have ever seen. This They had their drummer up on a pedestal, spinning him upside down, like his kit must have been drilled to it, and he's just wailing on these drums for like 10 minutes straight, like just they're just rotating him and lifting
when
him
did
up in
you
the
see
air, and it's just friggin' nuts. I was like, man, these guys are amazing live. I mean, these guys can put on a show.
when did you see them?
uh Not last summer, but the summer before.
So 2010.
Yeah.
That was in the middle of the Dark Horse tour. I wish I could have seen them on the Dark Horse tour. That would have been so awesome. I saw them on the All the Right Reasons tour in 2006, and I have always been a straight edge when it comes to drugs and alcohol. I've drank before, but like when it comes to like smoking anything, I just will not do it. It's just not my thing. I know better. I was raised better than that, and plus I was a dare kid. But when I left the concert in 2006, I had the biggest contact high, and I was trying to tell my mom to punch the pedal, meaning just, get home, let's get home, let's, get out of this traffic. It kept coming out as punch the pencil because I had such a contact high from being at their show. Oh
the
god. But no, they are great live. They are really great when they are performing live.
I was kind of excited because they did open with they opened with Sick Puppies and Breaking Benjamin that night too. So that was a
Sweet.
pretty sweet show for me. I actually am a huge Breaking Benjamin fan, and I love Sick Puppies too. So
All right, what is your number 2?
all right, the next two that I have are pretty much just basically stroking my personal favorites at this point. So,
Yes.
number two was your number eight, which is Seven Dust. Again, I am a huge goddamn Seven Dust fan. I pay attention to these guys as much as possible, and much like you, I didn't really hear any of their stuff until Animosity, and I woke up one morning and I was flipped on, I think it was like MTV or Fuse, I can't remember which station it was, but they played Praise, and I was like, this is badass. And then I realized, and I think what makes these guys absolutely unique is Lejeune, like you're saying, he's black, and that's what gives him, his voice is that much more different than the rest of anybody else, which gives him that kind of edge in hard rock and metal, and uh, and all their songs are just, I mean, freaking amazing. I can listen to every single song that they came out with and be absolutely happy. Even some of their not so good albums, I think uh, Alpha. I loved Alpha because that album was so friggin' hardcore. Like every song just made your ears bleed the whole way through, which is interesting because the actual logo is a guy with his ears bleeding. Uh, and I've seen these guys live twice in concert in a small venue, probably maybe 300 people,
Right.
and it is, you leave not being able to hear a thing for like a day and a half, and it is the greatest thing ever. When watching Morgan Rose hit those bass drums at like 100 miles an hour
Yeah.
is friggin' phenomenal. I cannot speak highly enough of this band. I mean, uh, I could, again, just hours. You put like all their CDs into a mixer, and I could just listen to that all day.
Yeah, just looking out looking at each of their albums. You take the self-titled album that came out. It was their debut album. It's got stuff like Black and Bitch and Too Close to Hate. It's got the Alice Cooper remake of School's Out. Um, it's got all that stuff, and I like those songs. You get to the next album after that, Home. It's got stuff like Denial, Waffle, Licking Cream.
Licking Cream was cool because the collaboration on that song was freaking cool. And again, not only was the other singer black, but she was also female,
Yeah, yeah,
which again was really cool. That was
yeah,
badass. Again, cool stuff on their part.
yeah. I mean, yeah, I absolutely love, a lot of their stuff from that album. And then, like you said earlier, you get to Animosity, and you have stuff like Tits on a Boar, which they've just now they just now used the initial. But I remember when I had the album, when I first did it actually said Tits on a Boar for the first track.
Yeah,
Praise, Trust, Crucified, Dead Set. Dead Set is one of my all-time favorite songs by them. Live Again, Beautiful is also good, and of course Angel's Son. Um, and then you get to Seasons, their next album, and absolutely loved Seasons. I thought it was a really, really good album, and it was one of those albums at the time where I could just listen to it front to back. Um, and I think after that, I kind of stepped out of them. I kind of stepped away from them because I don't remember listening to anything off of Next. I just don't. Alpha. Um,
I love their song that they did. You remember that album that came out, "Take a Bite Out of Rhyme"? It was a bunch of like hard rock songs.
right. Yeah.
Uh, their rap covers is basically they did the song "Going Back to Cali" by LL Cool J, and
Yeah.
that was badass.
Alpha, I think I have the entire album, and I think I've listened to it once. It's too hard for me. It
Never.
it well for me it's a little too hard for me. Um, I do have Chapter 7, Hope and Sorrow. That essentially is a not a compilation album, but that's a collaborative album because you've got them, with Mark Tremonti from Creed and Alter Bridge, with Chris Daughtry on the past, Miles Kennedy from Alter Bridge on Sorrow. So that was also really good. I have yet to check out the latest one that came out a couple years ago, Cold Day Memories. So I'm gonna have to. I've been wanting to check that out from them.
It's definitely a softer album. There's a couple of good songs on there that are harder, but it's definitely a lot softer than what you're used to hearing.
Right? Yeah. My number two is Live. God, Ed Kowalczyk was such a nutball. Oh boy. Um, Again, we did a whole music spotlight on these guys. Stuff like The Dolphins Cry and They Stood Up for Love and I Alone and Lightning Crashes. Absolutely love that stuff. Anything off of the Five album or Birds of Prey, absolutely love that. Um, a few songs off of Secret Samadhi like Ghost and Insomnia and the Hole in the Universe. I don't know. I latched onto them and just absolutely loved them at the time. And I know that they now have a new lead singer, Chris Shin, and they're supposed to be touring and hopefully putting out a new album. But I've always said that a band, and this is no disrespect to any band, but a band can interchange anything except a lead singer, especially when you have, like, I use the example of what if Brad Arnold from Three Doors Down and Chad Kroeger from Nickelback essentially switched places, and Brad was now the lead singer of Nickelback and Chad was now the lead singer of Three Doors Down? First of all, people would go fucking nuts. Second of all, it wouldn't be the same, and I'm skeptically and optimistically hopeful for what new stuff live has to come out of them with this new lead singer. But at the same time, I don't know how this guy Christian is gonna do with the concerts, because are they gonna still play the classic songs, "I Alone" and "Lightning Crashes" and all that? Because if so, I don't think it's gonna sound the same as when Kowalczyk was with them. But I absolutely love live. I love listening to their music. I love reading books and listening to their songs. I don't know. It was just really, really weird when I think it was back in 2003, 2004. I forget when. Nicholas Evans had just released the Smoke Jumper, and I loved listening to Live's song "Ghost," "Rattlesnake," and "Insomnia in the Whole Universe" while reading that book. And I don't know, I just absolutely love them. So, any thoughts on Live? Have you ever listened to any of their stuff?
I don't know enough about them to even say anything other than their name. But one thing I do have to say is that you just brought up the switching out lead singers. Like, but did we not just say Jerry Cantrell did Lane Staley justice for Seven Dust?
Well,
or not Seven Dust. God damn, Alice in Chains.
Alice in Chains. Okay. No, right. But okay, there are certain exceptions. There are. But my point here is, you get a band that's been around 10, 20, 30, 40 years, and you know all of their classic songs in that voice. And then, stuff happens in the band where the lead singer leaves and somebody else comes in and whatever else, and that's fine. I don't know. I'm just really... And it's only with Live that I'm really skeptical about this, because obviously none of the other bands that I've mentioned, their lead singers aren't going anywhere as far as I know. So,
usually if a band dissipates, it's never the other band members that form other bands. It's usually the lead singer will go off and do a solo or form a different band with that lead singer around it. Yeah. So it's I mean, there are a few exceptions, but I mean that's definitely usually the case, I think.
Watching my life wave me goodbye.
yes, after that epic drum roll, what is your number one? As if I already did not know.
Godsmack.
Yeah.
Which I love Godsmack. Again, they're much like Seven Dust. Kind of like I said before, I'm pretty much just picking personal favorites at this point. But,
Well,
uh,
that's the point of these
well,
countdown episodes is our favorite artist or bands from this whatever this era is.
well, I did try and give some credit to people that, helped define the 2000s, like Lady Gaga and Eminem. And
To
I,
help
they're
credit
not.
with your favorites.
Well, Godsmack, I freaking love Godsmack. Soul Urna, hands down one of the greatest voices to put into rock music. Even when he did his solo album, that was friggin' awesome. Uh, the album Awake in 2000 was probably one of their best executions. There probably wasn't a song on there that you couldn't that you couldn't hear from front to back and not enjoy. Voodoo, I can't talk about. When you hear Voodoo, people are like, I know that song. Yeah, it's hard not for anybody not to know that song. Their songs are used in I believe the Marines or the Navy. I think it's the Navy commercials.
Yeah.
They were used in those, and obviously some great songs from them. Voodoo, Speak, recently is Whiskey Hangover, and if you don't know the song I Stand Alone, then you need to go back and watch The Scorpion King again. Um, they just have really awesome albums. Oracle, even their most recent one was really good. I didn't think that album was going to be as good as it was, to be straight up honest with you. But when I heard it, there was a lot of good songs in there. It's funny because the one song on there that I actually don't like is one that gets radio play, and that's "Love, Hate, Sex, Pain." I really do not like that song, to be honest with you. But the rest of the album is fantastic.
Yeah. Just going through their discography here. Starting with their title album, their first album, Godsmack. Absolutely loved whatever. Moon Baby, Keep Away, Bad Religion.
Vampires. If you want a awesome, what am I thinking of here? Just an awesome listen to of that's nothing but pure instrumental.
Mhm.
Vampires is a great song. Sully doesn't even say a word through the entire song, other than I think he does like a across the microphone, and that's about it through the entire song. And then, but the rest of it's just it's just chuggy the whole way, and it's amazing.
Yeah. Looking at Awake, obviously the title track and Greed and all that. Just yeah, absolutely love those songs as well. And then going off of Faceless, you have Straight Outta Line, which is the one that is played in the military commercials. I Stand Alone, Realign, and Serenity. And, just I mean, these guys are just amazing. I mean, they just are. They know how to rock.
I thought one of the irony songs was the Navy used the song "Sick of Life" as one of their theme songs, which I thought was pretty funny. I was like, wait a minute, isn't the title of this song called "Sick of Life"? And they're playing it for the Navy. Like, if you're just done with life, join the Navy. It's like, come on.
Wow. But we can't talk about these guys without talking about the other side, that EP that they released, and oh my god. They released the other side simply to showcase what a voice Sully Erna has. Running Blind, Touche, Asleep, Realign, just amazing voice.
The Oracle album actually came with an unplugged DVD. It was like 10 songs, all acoustic, and it is just them taking all their songs that you would consider just ear-bleedingly awesome and turn them into something very melodic and very beautiful. And Sully Erna's voice does every bit of that justice.
You're talking about the An Evening with Godsmack DVD?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's off of the Good Times, Bad Times, 10 Years of Godsmack.
Oh yeah, you're right. Okay, you're right.
Yeah. You know, I and my thing is I don't normally buy greatest hits albums. I mean, unless it's the only thing that has the majority of the songs that I like off, from that artist or band. But I didn't buy Good Times, Bad Times, 10 Years of Godsmack, but I didn't buy the whole album, but I did buy the first track, the title track, Good Times, Bad Times, because that was the only place you could see that. And I have the rest of their songs for the most part. I don't have all of them, but I have a good majority of them. And yeah, Godsmack was just absolutely ear-bleedingly awesome, as you put it. For me and my number one, I don't know. People probably aren't going to be surprised with this, considering it was the artist spotlight that we just released before the countdown. The number one band for me or artist that I listen to the most from the 2000s is Theory of a Dead Man. I've seen these guys once. It was like right when they first hit, when they released their self-titled album. I wish I could see them again. I've had like several opportunities to see them again. It just didn't line up. It was skewed out of line. So it's a bad Godsmack joke.
Oh, ha.
But no, Theory of a Dead Man, absolutely awesome. All of their stuff is just great. Everyone says that they are essentially the other side of Nickelback, and I disagree. They've got really really great songs. They stuff like just off of the latest album, stuff like Low Life and Hurricane. Hurricane's a great song. Head Above Water is a great song. Just amazing. They actually did a song called Villain, and it's a bonus track, and it's a song that essentially says, why do you want to be the hero when the villain is the only, is always the one that wins? Because the hero never really, half the time the heroes never really win. But it was just amazing, amazing stuff. I love these guys. This is the one band that I've kept track of since their inception, because at the time, back in 2002, when they first came out, they had already formed. They'd formed in 2001, but they first got radio play and everything else in 2002 because their song from the self-titled album, the song Invisible Man, the only place you could hear it until the album came out later on in that year was the Spider-Man soundtrack. And as soon as I heard the song, I'm like, yep, I like these guys, and I've kept track of them, and actually interviewed one of the guitarists, Dave Brenner. Very very cool to talk with him. Yeah, Theory of a Dead Man. Everyone should at least give them a try. Give multiple songs from each album a try. Don't just listen to stuff like Bitch Came Back or Bad Girlfriend. I mean, give them an honest try, because they are just amazing.
Yeah, these guys seem to be WWE's go-to band for and it seems like it's like, well, shit, we don't have a theme song for this year's or this month's pay-per-view. Well, call Theory of a Dead Man, they'll do it. And
What pisses me off the most about that, though, is, and I know Vince McMahon is not in the public eye that much. They've essentially kicked him off of Raw. He's more so, behind the scenes running the business. But I think it was 2008, they released WWE Volume 8. And Theory got a chance to do Vince's theme, No Chance in Hell, which was originally, when I first heard Vince's theme, No Chance in Hell, it was originally done by Dope off of Forcible Entry in 2002, or in 2000. I don't remember, 2000, 2001, some point around there. I don't remember when the damn album came out. So Theory of a Dead Man does No Chance in Hell, but yet they never ever used it on Raw or SmackDown when Vince would come out. They always used the classic Dope version, and it's like, oh god, you had them record this song, but you can't even use it once at one of your appearances. But so there you go, folks. That's the countdown. Overall, I think we have my list is pretty much all rock stuff, or kind of like soft rock, or hard rock type of stuff, and You have slightly a more diverse list for the most part, putting in crap like Lady Gaga.
Lady Gaga, MC Frontalot, and Eminem are probably the main three that kind of stick out. But other than that, most of them are pretty really just hard rock bands that I've thoroughly enjoyed over the course of the last 10 years or so.
Yep. All right, so we're gonna take a quick break. It's gonna be a commercial break. Also, we're gonna hear some selections from mine and Dustin's lists, and we'll come back to close the show after that.
You can now hear the Geekcast Radio Network while on the go with Stitcher Smart Radio. Stitcher is a free-use and talk mobile app available for your smartphone. And when you download Stitcher to hear Geekcast Radio, you'll have a chance to win money. Downloading is quick and easy. Just find Stitcher in the App Store. During registration, hit the promo code BOX and enter Geekcast Radio, all one word, to get automatically entered to win $100. The latest episodes of the shows will be waiting for you in your favorites. You'll get access to lots of other amazing shows too. Always available to you on demand, no syncing. It's Stitcher Smart Radio. Don't forget to enter promo code Geekcast Radio when you register.
And now some selections from Dustin's Top 10 Countdown.
Slim Shadys are just imitating, so won't the real Slim Shady please stand up? Please stand up, please stand up. Cause I'm Slim Shady, yes I'm the real Shady. All you other Slim Shadys are just imitating, so won't the real Slim Shady please stand up? Please stand up, please stand up. Everything you say to me, one step closer to the edge, and I'm about to break. I need a little room to breathe, cause I'm one step closer to the edge, I'm about to break. I find the answers aren't so clear.
Never run in circles, this I do already know. What's the devil? Do we never run in circles, this I do already know. Say you, I would never deny you. Even though your hate for me is strong, I'm not virtue, I'm the one who never, love would be nothing and now I'm not virtue, I'm the one who but you never, love would be nothing and now. It's been a while since I first saw you, and it's been a while since I can stand on my own 2 feet again, and it's been a while since I could call you. 16, I fell in love with a girl as sweet as could be. She only took a couple of days till she was rid of me. Swore that she would be all mine and love me till the end. But when I whispered in her ear, I lost another friend. Oh, good times, bad times, you know I've had my share. When a woman left home for a brown-eyed man, and I still don't seem to care. As I take away all this pain, I try to every night, all in vain, in vain. Sometimes I cannot take this place. Sometimes it's
few selections from Mike's Top 10 Countdown of the 2000s.
Sweet woman, you're making me cry and I don't know why. I need you tonight, like a hole in the universe, like a walk in the rain, like a rose that longs to die. I need you tonight. You're so beautiful, invisible, beautiful, invisible, yeah. A goddess in a pair of diesel jeans. He's just a poor boy somehow, a warrior priest. I am walking around with nothing. I can hardly breathe. I can hardly breathe. I can hardly breathe. Finally, I can see my destiny. Leave all these doubts behind me. Find my destiny in the radiant sea of this love. Just a book of secrets and trouble on every side. Keep holding my hand tonight as we face this furnace. Something tells me that we can run from these flames, or we can stand together in pain forever and ever. The darker the night, the brighter the dawn. Forever and ever, I'll stay with you till the end of the storm. Vegas, baby, Vegas, I can hear the people say, we thought this was the promised land, but the promise slipped away. Out the door and down the street, he slithered on the floor, turned into a rattlesnake, and we'll never see no more. No more. Set your fire, purify me. Set your fire, purify me. Open my eyes so I can see. And I know all there is to know, it's a dead end. Late at night, I'll come walking by just to see what went wrong. Late at night, you'll come crawling back just to steal a piece of me. My feeling was that sad. Was the real beginning? What did you say? I am restless. What can I do to leave it as my mind just melts away? Once I say I can't be saved, no more change. I dodge the grave almost every day. One single life needs not to die for such a cheap price. For one last So just give it one more try. We'll lullaby. We'll turn this up on the radio. If you can hear me now, I'm reaching out to let you know that you're not alone. And you can't say back again, back with all my friends. I've been floating away on a silver cloud, lined with all of my wildest dreams. I'm back in the system now, and I've waited much too long. Back in the system, I'm back in the system now, and I'm finally coming home. Looking so sorry that I'm gonna believe you've been affected by social disease. Well, then take your medicine. I created the sound of madness, wrote the book on pain. Somehow I'm still here to explain. Together, number one, the chosen ones. We are one, we will fight forever. We are one and we won't die young. We are the bold, united souls. We live to win another victory. Who will I become? I'm coming on like an elephant gun, reaching for the peace of mind that I can't find. The sun keeps fading away, searching for a feeling that will never come. The return of the prodigal son.
We're back here on Geekcast Radio's Music Spotlight, the countdown of the 2000s. Very interesting lists, I think. I would have liked to have had at least one other person on here to see what kind of more diversity we could have had, but I think our lists are very unique to their own, and obviously not all the same choices. And I deliberately left Godsmack off my list because I knew that they were going to be your number one.
Well, I think the only ones we had in common was Seven Dust.
Yeah, Seven Dust was the only crossover.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's it. You got anything you want to pimp out before we close out?
I'm doing my best to kind of give One Up Your Life a new image. I've got somebody by the name of Brian Castleberry who is on Substance TV. He's redesigning a logo for me, which God bless him, because I really want to start taking this website to the next level, and I don't want to get sued by using a one-up mushroom on my stuff. So, Nintendo, if you're listening, I love you. But I'm not going to use your mushroom because I don't want to get sued. But anyway, I really want to revamp the site. There's a bunch of stuff I want to start doing, and I got a anti-bullying campaign thing I'm trying to work on here in the next couple of months. Really reaching out to a bunch of people to see if they're willing to jump in on that. So here we go. Let's do it.
Actually, just to piggyback off of that, we've already set aside after the Music Spotlight, the first episode of GCR after episode 35, episode 36, we actually moved our schedule around, and episode 36 of Geekcast Radio will be probably me, you, Steve, Megatron, and maybe one other person. I don't know who else that fourth is going to be, but episode 36 will be Bullying Must Be Stopped, No Matter the Cost. Come on, it's a Transformers joke, damn it.
I'm sorry.
So, we hope you enjoyed this episode of Geekcast Radio.
I failed. I'm sorry.
Join us next time when we will be covering in episode 34 in the Music Spotlight, the one-hit wonders. For now, I am TFG1 Mike with
Dustimus Prime Vancouver.
Thank you for listening. Until next time, and keep rocking out.
No, mommy, don't hit me. I never hit me like that, mommy. I can't bitch. Fuck you! I don't need this shit. You stupid, sadistic, abusive fucking whore. Would you like to see how it feels, mommy? Here it comes, get ready to die!
You've just listened to Geekcast Radio on the Geekcast Radio Network. There are several ways to get in contact with us or leave feedback for the show. First, visit the website, geekcastradio.com, where you can comment on all of our different podcasts. Second, you can rate our show and leave us feedback in iTunes. Third, follow us on Twitter at Geekcast Radio. Fourth, become a fan on Facebook. Go to facebook.com/GeekcastRadio. Call the voicemail line 502-526-5821. Please remember to tell us the show you are leaving the message for and your name. So until next time, unleash the geek in you.